very late up here in Queensland. It's very late, these sort of games. 7:40. I'm not even going to sleep 3 hours at this stage. I'm going to nap at half time. Yeah. What have we got?
You might, probably struggle to go to sleep anytime soon, I'd imagine, after that. Another hard story.
It was. Look, we had an incredible first half. They had an incredible second half, and at the end of the day, it was a flip of the coin who anyone won, and we were fortunate enough to come out on top. And they're a great side. The way they go about it, they've been playing that sort of football where they've got a great understanding of how to play catch-up mode. They've been doing it for 3 to 4 years, on the fly, and we're just growing and learning in that space of what it is to absorb, but more importantly to keep playing. We sort of, I thought we probably went in our shells a little bit. We didn't offensively challenge them at all, so we'll get some learnings out of it as well. The positive for us is we won the game. We're not sitting there, reviewing the game and we didn't get the 4 points, if that makes sense. But there's some good growth in there for us.
Did you think you should have been further in front, actually, at half-time? They missed a few shots, obviously.
Yeah, they missed a few shots. I thought it was, probably about right, from our perspective. They sort of had some missable shots as well. So I thought we played a really good first half, outstanding first half. And as I said previously, then Collingwood flicked the switch and all of a sudden we looked like witches' hats and they started to get their game up and going. They're a really good side, got some important players. Pendlebury just oozes class, and if it wasn't Nick killing us, it was Josh's last quarter was incredible. So I think we sent out the message for someone to get Dacos, and they naturally assumed we were going to Nick, but it was Josh that was sort of hurting us. But they were both pretty important.
What does that tell us about your team, that you gave up the lead and then were able to?
Yeah, I think that's the positive. We talk about a Suns team that fights and scraps and refuses to be beaten, and I reckon they showed that again today. It was similar to the game last year where we got headed, but what it did is actually sparked us into playing again. We just stopped, moving the ball. We stopped running, sort of thing, and it was certainly noticeable. But once again, sometimes I think, when you've got a really good side coming at you, that's our learning and that's our growth. But what I was really happy with is once we did get headed, the boys got back to work and got the result we were after.
Just on that Josh final quarter, you said you don't like to tag, you more prefer to manage the players, but in that situation where he was running amok in that final quarter.
Yeah, we did. We put a couple to him. Lockie, I think, went to him, and Powley went to him at various stages. But what they're good at is, the thing with tagging, you can manipulate. So all of a sudden there's 2 players that are trying to defend and no one's trying to attack. So we sort of thought, look, if we can do it, we'll try and absorb the contest, which we did in the end. But it's a really challenging space because the very, very good sides like Collingwood and what we're eventually going to become, I think, you can dictate that. We're at a situation, similar sort of thing with Melbourne trying to tag Noah Anderson 2 weeks ago. Same sort of thing. They had to drop it at quarter time because you can sit there and flick things around. So, the very best players can get away with it. A lot of sides have tried to tag Collingwood. There's a reason they're, 14 wins or something like that. They're a bloody good side.
So it was a message at 3/4 time with the Giants game fresh in the players' memory. You knew that Collingwood would obviously keep coming. So
yeah, it was just to keep playing the game and to protect the corridor, which we just for whatever reason just couldn't get a ball movement out of our back half to our usual standards. So we'll get to work on that. We'll get a good understanding of why that happened, and we just seem to lose every LDL contest as well. Collingwood once again a very strong defensive side. We know that, and there's a reason they're 14 wins. So we'll learn some lessons.
You said you're going to turn Ben King into a big finals player. Friday night, big lights, Collingwood in town. What did you make of his game today?
Oh, I thought it was pretty. I'm not sure of the scoreboard impact, but I was pumped with all 3 of our keys because they, I think the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game they had 5 MOPs, but then after that I thought our boys got it to ground really well. And we keep saying people sort of look at the keys of their output, but it's the collective output and the way the game interconnects. We really like the look of it. Ben's, I reckon, really stepped up and starting to understand his role and he's valuing the things that we value, halving contests, getting the ball to ground for the smalls, and we're fortunate enough that we've got 2 young 20-year-olds that are learning off him as well. I thought they all took a step forward, not only tonight but the previous few weeks.
You said you were going to speak to the AFL about Matt Rowell. Did you think he got a fair run tonight?
Oh, we spoke to him about, not particular Matt Rowell, but a few issues sort of thing. Matt, the ball player being one of them. And Oh, look, it's hard to see. I think he got a couple of stoppage free kicks, gave away 3 though as well. So, look, it's one of those things. I think, most people say the same. They want to come and watch the very best play. I thought he was outstanding tonight. Had a heap of the ball, massive tackle count, kicked some really big goals. Thought he was wonderful tonight, which is great.
And without Took, to do without Took.
Yeah, so Took was on fire too early, so that was a significant loss for us. We don't know how bad it is. Obviously, we'll have scans the next couple of days, but hamstring, what level, we're not too sure, but we'll certainly put that out once we get it. But he's had a wonderful year, so look, hopefully it's on the short term of the spectrum, but what we do know is we had some pretty good players at VFL level that'll be prepared to put their hand up and go.
Will the topic be ruck free kicks this week? And what do you think of Witz's game against...
I thought, they're 2 of the premier rucks in the competition, I reckon. I think, Darcy gets his plaudits, but I think our guy gets a very much underrated sort of look because we're north of the border. He's had a wonderful year. Like, I think personally being our top 3 best and fairest at the moment. He's had an outstanding year, and look, it's hard to not by going back to the tape, but they do bash in those big blokes, don't they? So yeah.
All the talk now, Jim, will be finals. Is this the year they make the finals? You're 11-5. Do you set the sights higher? Or?
Yeah, we've just finished a block, so we're into a next block of 4 sort of thing. We finished this block 3-1. It was a really challenging block. But we moved to the next block, which all of a sudden looks like Adelaide and Brisbane in the next 2 weeks. So, we can go there, but at the end of the day, and we want our players to understand that's what we're aiming for, but we've got to just get our thoughts back on the next shift, and that next shift is Adelaide. So that's what the very best sides are doing. We're learning, we're growing like that, but, we've still got a little way to go. I shouldn't say a little way to go, we've still got a way to go. But we're excited about what we can be.
Psychologically, though, not to walk away winners tonight, like how big is that just for the whole club?
Yeah, it's big. Well, it's big because it's a big game. Friday night footy, we don't often get it. I think it might be the first time we've had a Friday night game up here and against, one of the best sides in the competition, or if not the best side in the competition. And, we played an outstanding brand of footy. So, I'm sitting there hoping that the city of Gold Coast jump on and look at this side and think, Christ, I want to be a part of this. We're starting to build something I think that is unique, but also can be quite special. We're a young, I don't want to say a young side because you choose to be young, but we're a side that I think is emerging and developing. But I think it's capable of some pretty special things. So tonight was a big step for that.
Sweet.